So, CNN lied about Joe Rogan. Sanjay Gupta was confronted. We're going to show you, if it seems like it's a little bit long, you need to see how many times Sanjay Gupta had the ability to be truthful and how he avoided, he obfuscated, weaseled out, and then immediately switched direction when going on CNN, as well as he wrote an op-ed that no one will read, of course, because it was written by Sanjay Gupta at CNN. The timeline
That's true.
really matters here. So let's first show, for context, last month, CNN went after Joe Rogan while he was taking Ivermectin along with other therapies. When he had COVID, got over it within 3 days. Some would say that's a success story. They were accusing him of taking, quote, horse dewormer for weeks. Here you go.
Joe Rogan just announcing that he's tested positive for coronavirus. Rogan telling his 13 million Instagram followers that he was treated with several drugs, and he included Ivermectin on the list, a drug used for livestock.
One of those drugs he mentioned, Ivermectin, is something more often used to deworm horses.
Nope, wrong.
CDC says there's no evidence it works on COVID. Its increased usage has only led to a substantial increase in overdoses after a push by some on the far right,
Not true.
citing vaccine misinformation.
When you have a horse deworming medication that's discouraged by the government, that actually causes some people in this crazed environment we're in to actually want to try it. That's the upside down world we're in with figures like Joe Rogan.
So that was all the horse dewormer. You see it. They were very clearly implying that it was only horse dewormer that was used as a majority of the time as a horse dewormer. Also false. You're talking about billions of prescriptions that have been given out. Hundreds of millions each year, just to be clear. Here is Gupta on, and you've seen this, but I want to show you the timeline so you can understand the danger of cowardice. May seem like a nice guy. Not a guy you can trust. Here's Gupta on with Rogan when he was actually confronted. Feet to the fire.
Calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get that.
It's a lie. It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a willing. That's a lie that they're conscious of.
They said you are not a horse, you are not a cow. Stop taking this stuff or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people? A drug that was responsible for one of the inventors of it making
Nobel Prize.
winning the Nobel Prize in 2015.
Yeah.
A drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is ridiculous.
You got it
right
with you.
here. Somebody gave it to me.
All right, hang on. The thing is, we're like going so fast. Like I feel like I'm missing.
It's going pretty slow here.
That's a problem that your news network lies.
Well, I don't.
Dude.
What did they say?
They lied
What did
and
they
said
say?
I was taking horse dewormer.
Ivermectin can be a very effective medication for parasitic disease. And as you say, it's probably, I think a 250 million people have taken it around the world.
More,
I get that.
Way more.
So,
way more. Billions of people have taken it.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two things on the ledger.
You have, before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied, just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer?
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You didn't ask? You didn't think that was you're the medical guy over there. It's defamatory.
It is, yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
It's defamatory, right?
Well, I don't know if it's defamatory.
I bet it is.
I bet you it is. Guess what? He knows that it is.
I know, and he calls him a couple times, like billions, many more.
Dude.
Dude, come on.
Look, and the issue wasn't whether ivermectin is 100% proven effective in humans. That wasn't the point. The point was they said Joe Rogan was taking horse dewormer. Why? And this is why a lot of people think that it's more effective than maybe it is. I think that if you look at the clinical data, it looks promising. But the more people lie about it and say horse dewormer, people know who get a prescription from their doctor say, oh, well, that's a lie. Now I'm not going to believe anything that CNN says. Yeah. Here is now Sanjay Gupta on CNN after this, changing his tune.
So it is not a lie to say that the drug is used as a horse dewormer. I think that's important, and it is not
a de-ewer, Lemon?
For COVID. Correct?
That's right. That's correct. It is not approved for COVID. Now, I think what Joe's point is...
It has been approved for humans, but not necessarily for COVID, right? Yeah.
That's correct. It's been used for a parasitic disease, for something it's called river blindness, and it's been very effective for that.
But, just because it works for one thing doesn't mean it works for something else.
No one is saying that means it works for something else. However, we use prescriptions off-label all the time, and in many ways, they're more effective than the reason they were created in the first place. There are anti-seizure medications that are then used as anti-spasm medications. You have medications that are created out there as antidepressants that end up working for nerve pain. This isn't something new. Now, here's something even funnier. Gupta was clearly, look, I'm not on YouTube. What a pussy. This is what matters. So this is the kinds of people who are in your media. I'm going to go to Overlay A2, Tokunawa, and I'll go back to the others. He published an article trying to make Rogan sound physically scary as well as unintelligent. So he wrote...
That's what bothered me, and I don't mean to cut you off. It was just, that's what really bothered me. What do you think, he was going to attack you on his show?
Right.
Just start hitting you? You had every opportunity to stand up for yourself.
He's holding me accountable.
Right. I can't believe... Part of me thought the MMA, a former Taekwondo champion, might hurtle himself across the table and throttle my neck, with good reason. But instead, he smiled and off we went. Well, that seems like he's pleasant. Joe took great pride in his test, insisting the thickness of his lines must mean stronger immunity, where he's talking about the antibody lines. He was joking, just to be clear. He was joking. I am fairly certain he was joking. Good!
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't have the heart to tell him that my antibody line was significantly thicker than his anyways. Well, good for you, Taj Mahal. Let's just be clear, too. This is the same dishonest, this journalist tactic. Remember the New York Times? They said that Officer Sicknick at the Capitol, he was killed by being bludgeoned to death with a fire extinguisher.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. Well, it turns out that's not the case. Well, then they don't cover it.
No. Yeah. They issue a retraction on page 74.
Right. Remember the Tom Cotton debunked lab theory? Oh, he didn't get killed by a fire extinguisher. He went home, walked home, said he was fine to his family, went into his room, and he had a stroke.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I do remember that.
Yeah, but they said, now in other words, maybe the stress didn't help from the day.
I'm sure.
Sure. But he wasn't beaten to death with a fire extinguisher.
No.
Very, very different. Then the media just moves on. Remember Tom Cotton? They just went after him, said he was a racist for the lab leak theory.
Yeah.
Right? Then they also tried to ghost Jon Stewart for suggesting that it was a theory, it was racist. And then when they find out, they just go, "Ooh, we'll just move on." Same thing with Nick Sandmann. This is a racist. This is what's wrong with America. They almost destroyed a kid's life.
Yeah.
And the only reason these issues are corrected is because of people like Joe Rogan and because of programs like this. And that's why we are currently suspended on YouTube. Hey, want to bet they're not going to cover female inmates getting pregnant in prisons on CNN? Want to bet they're not going to cover the Loudoun County situation where girls were serial raped at CNN? But they want to remove the outlets that do. And when Sanjay Gupta was faced with that outlet, when he went on that outlet, and I remember him saying, I've never had a 3-hour conversation with anyone in my life. Then you've lived an asshole's life. Do you understand that? Then you are the problem if you only learn how to speak in sound bites. You haven't learned how to interact with human beings. And you and your producers over there, okay, Zucker and Griffin at MSNBC, and yes, the folks at Fox News who said Change My Mind would never work because it had to be sound bites, you are the reason for the divisiveness in the media. Don't blame the people who are fighting back.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.